The bright lights of the school auditorium sparkled like stars, illuminating the decorated walls adorned with colorful streamers and handmade posters. Excitement buzzed in the air as cheerful parents, teachers, and students filled the seats, all eagerly waiting for the annual talent show to begin. The stage was set with a shiny microphone at its center, surrounded by twinkling fairy lights that danced in the gentle breeze of the cooling fans. As everyone settled into their seats, the chatter turned to laughter and applause as each act took their turn. Some children sang sweet melodies, while others showcased magic tricks or danced with infectious energy. The audience clapped enthusiastically, encouraging each young performer with smiles and cheers. In the midst of this joyous atmosphere stood a curly-haired little boy wearing a crisp white shirt and blue jeans. He clutched the microphone tightly with small hands, his heart racing with both excitement and nerves. His big brown eyes scanned the crowd, searching for familiar faces among the sea of smiles. The supportive shouts from his friends made him feel a little braver. But as he stepped closer to sing his song, a wave of fear washed over him. Suddenly, he felt frozen in place. The vibrant audience became a blur, and all he could hear was his own heart pounding in his chest. The once joyful anticipation turned into a heavy weight on his shoulders as he felt tears welling up in his eyes, overwhelming him in that moment under the bright lights. As the spotlight flickered to life, the little boy took a deep breath, gripping the microphone with his small hands. His curly hair bounced with every shift of his weight, and he felt a flutter of anticipation in his stomach. He had dreamed of this moment for weeks, imagining himself standing boldly on stage while the audience cheered him on. Wearing his crisp white shirt and blue jeans, he felt like a star ready to shine. But as he looked out at the sea of faces, excitement quickly turned to nerves. The cheers from his classmates, who had been so supportive, now felt overwhelming. He searched for familiar faces in the crowd, his best friend waving enthusiastically, his mom beaming with pride, but the pressure of performing made everything seem distant and blurry. With each passing second, his heartbeat grew louder in his ears, drowning out the encouraging shouts that surrounded him. He wanted to sing his song and share his talent, but the anxiety in his chest tightened like a heavy blanket. Thoughts raced through his mind. What if he forgot the words? What if he stumbled? He took another breath, trying to summon courage within himself, longing to feel that joyful excitement again. But as he stepped forward to sing, it was as if a sudden gust of wind had frozen him in place. The microphone felt heavy in his grip, and before he knew it, tears began to fill his eyes, blurring his vision even further. The bright lights felt like they were closing in, and he felt lost in that moment of fear. As the spotlight illuminated the stage, the little boy felt a sudden chill. He was no longer the excited performer he had envisioned. Instead, he was just a small figure trapped under the bright lights, facing a huge sea of faces. His heart raced, and his mind went blank. The cheers that had once inspired him now felt like a weight pressing down on his chest. He glanced out at the audience, his wide brown eyes searching desperately for comfort. But all he could see were smiling faces that seemed to blur together. The joyful cheers of encouragement echoed in his ears, yet they felt distant and unreachable, as if they belonged to another world. Each moment stretched on like a lifetime, making him feel smaller and more alone. With every heartbeat, the anticipation he had felt moments ago disappeared into thick air, leaving a heavy anxiety behind. He remembered the song he had practiced so hard, but the words now danced away like shadows just out of reach. Panic set in as fear gripped him tightly. He became aware of how loud his own breathing sounded. His fingers trembled around the microphone, which now felt dauntingly heavy. He wanted to scream for help or run off the stage but found himself frozen in place, rooted to the floor by invisible chains of doubt and fear. Tears brimmed in his eyes, threatening to spill over as he stood there, wishing more than anything just to lose himself in the happy memories of that dream he had held so tightly. As the tears began to spill from his eyes, silence enveloped the auditorium. The excited chatter that filled the space moments ago turned to a quiet hush as everyone sensed the boy's struggle. Parents leaned forward in their seats, concern etched on their faces, and teachers exchanged worried glances, unsure of how to help him. The atmosphere shifted from one of eager anticipation to empathy and tenderness. His friends in the front row looked up with wide eyes, feeling helpless but wanting nothing more than to support him. Some whispered words of encouragement like, "You can do it!" while others held up signs they had made for him, hoping he would see that they believed in him despite his fears. Yet, for the little boy on stage, their support felt far away, lost in a sea of overwhelming feelings. With trembling lips and shoulders shaking, he looked down at the microphone, its metallic surface gleaming under the bright lights. It felt as if it was a weight dragging him deeper into his despair. The audience remained still, each person rooted in their chair as they waited for something to unfold. Hope flickered in their hearts that this moment would pass and allow the boy to shine. But right now, all he could feel was sadness and fear washing over him like cold waves crashing against the shore. He desperately longed to escape this moment, and return to the safety of his dreams where he sang effortlessly on stage with everyone cheering him on instead of witnessing this painful freeze. From his seat at the judges' table, Elvis watched the scene unfold with a heavy heart. Clad in his iconic gold blazer and dark shirt, he had come to appreciate the courage it took for these children to perform. Yet, seeing the curly-haired boy struggling on stage stirred something deep within him. The echoing silence in the auditorium felt like a weight pressing down. He could sense the child's pain and fear, and it reminded him of moments from his own past, times when he had faced a crowd and felt utterly alone. Elvis leaned closer towards the other judges, whispering that he needed to step in. They nodded in understanding, their expressions reflecting the empathy that filled the room. In that moment, he knew he couldn't just watch. He wanted to offer support and encouragement to the little boy who seemed so lost. With determination in his stride, Elvis rose from his chair and made his way to the stage. Each step felt purposeful as he approached the trembling child at the microphone. The audience turned their attention to him, sensing something special was about to happen. Kneeling beside the boy, Elvis lowered himself to eye level, creating an intimate space where he could connect directly. As he leaned closer, Elvis whispered softly into the boy's ear. His words were filled with warmth and understanding, meant to lift the heavy burden of doubt that weighed so heavily on the boy's small shoulders. In that moment, hope began to flicker again, both for the boy and for everyone watching. As Elvis knelt beside the little boy, the atmosphere around them seemed to change. His gold blazer shimmered softly under the stage lights, creating a gentle glow that added warmth to the moment. He focused entirely on the child, ensuring his presence felt safe and reassuring. The boy's wide, tear-filled eyes met Elvis's, and for a brief moment, he saw someone who understood his fear. Elvis took a deep breath, letting his calm energy flow into the space between them. He leaned in closer and whispered soothing words to the boy's ear, encouraging him gently. "You are brave. Just take a deep breath and remember how much fun you wanted this to be." Each word was chosen with care, designed to lift the weight of anxiety off the boy's shoulders. With every encouraging phrase, Elvis noticed the tightness in the boy's body begin to relax just a little. The trembling shoulders eased as he soaked in the kindness radiating from Elvis's presence. It wasn't just a performance anymore. It was a shared moment of understanding and support that transcended fear. As he whispered reassuringly, Elvis could see small flickers of hope ignite in the boy's eyes. The once overwhelming silence now felt like a cocoon of warmth as other children watched intently, their own nervousness easing as they witnessed this heartfelt connection. In that intimate space, where time seemed to pause for just a heartbeat, it became clear that no matter what happened next, this moment would forever be etched in their hearts as one of courage and compassion. As Elvis's soothing words wrapped around him like a warm blanket, the little boy felt a spark of courage beginning to flicker inside. Slowly, he reached up to wipe away his tears, feeling the coolness of his small fingers against his cheeks. He took a deep, shaky breath, trying to pull the strength from within that he knew was hiding beneath the fear. The weight of doubt and panic started to lift as he focused on Elvis, who was still kneeling beside him, radiating kindness and support. With each breath, the boy's heart began to steady, and he could feel the warmth of the audience's collective hope washing over him. They were all cheering him on silently, ready for him to take this important step forward. As he straightened his back, he noticed the microphone felt lighter in his hands. The once daunting task of singing was transformed into an exciting challenge. The light shining down from above no longer felt harsh. Instead, it illuminated the path before him, guiding him back to where he belonged on that stage. With newfound determination in his eyes, the boy glanced out at the supportive faces in the audience. He could see his friends beaming back at him, their smiles a reminder of the joy he wanted to share. The fear that had gripped him moments ago began to fade away, replaced by a hopeful excitement for what was to come. Taking another deep breath, he prepared himself to sing, ready to embrace this moment and let his heart shine through the music he loved. The auditorium held its breath in anticipation, eager for the transformation that was about to unfold. With a newfound sense of determination, the little boy took a deep breath and stepped back up to the microphone. The bright stage lights felt warm and inviting now, wrapping around him like a soft hug. He could hear the whispers of encouragement from the audience, their smiles urging him on as if they were all in this moment together. As he grasped the microphone again, it felt lighter in his hands, no longer a burden, but a tool that would help him share his heart. He remembered the joy of singing and the excitement he felt imagining this very moment. Inhaling deeply, he let go of the fear that had once held him captive. The moment was electric. Anticipation crackled in the air. The audience sat on the edge of their seats, eyes shining with support for the brave boy before them. Friends waved encouragingly from the front row, and parents flashed proud smiles that lit up their faces. He focused on Elvis for a brief second, who gave him an approving nod from nearby. That glance filled him with warmth and strength. It was as if he could feel Elvis's belief in him wrapping around him like an invisible shield against doubt. With his heart pounding in his chest but filled with excitement rather than fear, the boy opened his mouth and sang out, pouring all his emotions into each note. The sound erupted from him like a stream of light breaking through dark clouds. The auditorium erupted into applause as he transformed not only into a performer but into a shining star ready to share his gift with the world. As the boy's voice filled the auditorium, a profound silence enveloped the room. He had chosen a song that spoke of dreams, love, and the courage to be oneself, words that resonated deeply with everyone present. His small frame stood tall as he poured his heart into the lyrics, each note fluttering through the air like a delicate butterfly, capturing the attention of every listener. The melody flowed effortlessly from him, rich with emotion and sincerity. Each word he sang seemed to pull the audience closer, drawing them into his world where fear transformed into hope. The heartfelt performance touched the hearts of parents, teachers, and friends alike. Many wiped away tears as they listened, moved by the raw honesty in his voice. He could feel the energy in the room swell around him like a warm wave, lifting him higher with every chorus. The audience leaned in with rapt attention, mesmerized by this brave little boy who had overcome his fear and found joy in sharing his gift. Friends exchanged glances filled with pride, and parents cheered him on, their joyful expressions lighting up the auditorium. As he reached the final notes of his song, he looked out at the crowd, seeing a sea of encouraging smiles. In that moment, he felt as if he were not just performing but connecting with each person listening. The last note lingered in the air before fading into applause so thunderous it shook the walls. The boy beamed brightly, knowing he had shared something beautiful that would be remembered long after the music stopped. As the boy's beautiful voice rang out, the audience couldn't help but be swept away in the emotion of the moment. Smiles spread across faces, illuminating the auditorium like stars in a night sky. Each note resonated within the hearts of listeners, and parents, friends, and classmates leaned forward in their seats, eager to feel every ounce of courage he was sharing. Cheers erupted spontaneously from the crowd as he reached higher notes, their encouragement surging through him like electric energy. Some parents wiped away tears of joy while clapping enthusiastically, moved by the little boy's bravery and talent. It was more than just a performance. It became a shared experience that united everyone in the room. As he sang about dreams and hope, small children in the audience mirrored his movements, swaying gently and mouthing the words along with him. The energy built gradually, igniting an infectious excitement that spread through every corner of the auditorium. Friends who had once watched anxiously now cheered loudly, showing their unwavering support as they shouted phrases like, "You've got this!" and "We're proud of you!" With each passing moment, it became clear that this was not just his performance, but a celebration of courage that touched every heart present. As he reached the final notes, applause erupted like thunder, filling the space with warmth and connection. The boy's heart swelled with pride as he took in the smiling faces around him. This was a moment he would never forget, surrounded by love and support from those who cared for him most. As the boy approached the final notes of his song, a surge of energy filled the auditorium. His voice soared, each note brimming with newfound confidence and strength. The audience, captivated by his transformation, held their breath in anticipation. With one last heartfelt melody, he finished, his tiny frame radiating the joy of having shared his spirit through music. In that moment, the auditorium erupted. Thunderous applause rolled through the room like a wave, enveloping him in sound and support. Parents stood up, clapping wildly, while friends jumped from their seats cheering enthusiastically. The emotional response in the air was palpable. Tears of pride glistened on many faces, and smiles stretched from ear to ear. The boy blinked in surprise at the flood of appreciation pouring over him. His heart swelled as he took in the sight of so many people celebrating his bravery. He scanned the audience and met his mother's eyes, sparkling with tears of joy, and saw Elvis nodding with pride from his place among the judges. "Thank you," he shouted, overwhelmed by the warmth wrapping around him. It was more than just applause. It felt like a powerful embrace of love and encouragement that would stay with him long after this moment. As he stepped back from the microphone, a smile lit up his face, a mix of disbelief and happiness. He had faced his fears and triumphed in front of everyone he cared about, knowing this experience would be a cherished memory forever etched in his heart. As the applause began to fade, the little boy stepped off the stage, his heart still racing from the thrill of his performance. He searched the crowd for familiar faces and spotted his mother, who rushed over with tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. "You were amazing!" she exclaimed, pulling him into a tight embrace. The boy felt her love wrapping around him like a warm blanket, and he couldn't help but smile. Nearby, Elvis watched the tender scene unfold with a sense of fulfillment. His heart swelled with pride as he saw the transformation in the boy, recognizing how his small act of kindness had made such a significant impact. The boy's family approached him next, gratitude shining in their eyes. "Thank you so much for helping our son," they said sincerely. "You gave him the courage to face his fear and shine tonight." Elvis smiled back, feeling humbled by their appreciation. "It was all him," he replied. "He found that bravery within himself." His words echoed a powerful truth. Sometimes, all it takes is a little support and belief from others to unlock the potential hidden inside. The boy looked up at Elvis with admiration and whispered, "Thank you for believing in me." Those words resonated deeply with Elvis. He remembered moments from his own childhood when someone's encouragement had sparked his confidence. It highlighted the importance of kindness and support in overcoming fears and pursuing dreams. As families celebrated together, laughter and joy filled the auditorium once more, creating an atmosphere of love and unity that would linger long after the lights dimmed on this unforgettable evening.